in this video I want to introduce you to the concept of sharps and flats and what that means and how to relate what it means on paper with what it means in the real world, so to speak, at the piano keyboard or in creating actual sounds. So, what are we talking about when we talk about sharps and flats? As you know, we can have a particular clef, and from that clef we determine the notes on the staff. So we know that this particular note in this clef is the note C. We determine that because we know this clef sets certain notes or pitches to certain lines and certain spaces. We've got that down from previous videos. So if this is indeed the note C, we can also then locate this note depending on where we know middle C to be on the piano. Remember, middle C is this C below the treble clef. So this must be the C that is found above the treble clef middle C. And indeed it is. If this was middle C, then we would keep working our way up, D, E, F, G, A, B, C, and we would find, oh yeah, this is the C that we're talking about when we look at this one here. No problem there. I could do the same thing for the note G, could do the same thing for the note D. Once we have a point of reference, middle C, and we know where middle C is on the piano, we'll go ahead on this keyboard and say, this is going to be our middle C. If that is middle C, then we can locate any other note that is a white note. We can locate any other note around that given middle C note. We can say, okay, this is a G, this is a C, this is a B, whatever it might be, above or below. So we're good with that. So the question then becomes, well, what happens? How do we get to continue to use the rest of the notes on the piano? How do we employ the black notes? Well, we employ the black notes of the piano by raising or lowering the white notes that are around them. We can get to this black note on the piano by raising this note up or lowering this note down. I assume that kind of makes sense. If we're on this note, we want to get to the note immediately above it, we would need to raise up. We physically actually have to play up the piano, or we have to play down the piano to get to it from above. So the question is, fine, the concept's great, I see that. I start on this note, I go up, I start on this other note, I go down. That's fine. The question is, how do we label that note? And this is where the term sharp or flat comes into play. We consider that this is a given note. It happens to be the note F. We can work that out here. We say if this is middle C, then this is D, E, F. We've got the note F. So this note, if you go up, is F sharp. However, if you go down from the note above, this is the note G, and we will go down to the note in between the two notes, and this time it becomes G flat. So there are a couple of things we need to note about this. First of all, any given note can be raised or it can be lowered, and it creates a sharp or a flat. The second thing we need to observe is that some notes can have more than one name. This note here might be F sharp, or it might be G flat. This note here could be D sharp, or it could be E flat. It can share more than one name. Now, in a later video, we're going to look at specifically what we call that sharing of names. But for now, I just want you to get the concept that you can raise the white notes up, sharpening them, or lower them down, flattening them. And we use the term sharp or flat to do that. And so, if I have the note F, I can raise it to create F sharp, and we do that by placing this symbol in front of it. This symbol looks kind of like a tic-tac-toe board. It is for sharp. If I want to lower a note down, remember we had the note G and we were going to lower it. Here's the note G. I'm going to lower it down. I use another symbol, and that symbol is the symbol, looks like a little letter B, but it's actually the flat symbol. It looks like this. So the symbol for sharp and the symbol for flat. You need to know those symbols. And all that does is it takes a white note and it raises it up to the note immediately above it. So the concept's pretty straightforward, and I hope that you would have that. That's sharp and flat, no problem. There is one other thing that I should share with you. It's an observation, really, and it takes us back to the keyboard. Notice that I could be on this white note, E. Now, if I want to lower that note E, there's no problem. I lower it to E flat. But what if I want to raise it? If I raise the note E, then I would make it E sharp. And remember, the definition of raising it is to raise it up to the next note, the note immediately above it. So that takes us actually to the white note F. But if we have written it as E sharp, then this white note F would be called E sharp. What we learn from that is that note names are very flexible. We more readily think of this note as F, but in certain circumstances it can be given another name. The name F is a convenient reference point for this note most of the time, but at certain times we may have to refer to it as E sharp. And again, it's the concept that you have to have in your mind. When you sharpen a note, you raise it to the note immediately above it. And that would mean from the note F going to F sharp, but it would also mean from the note E going to the white note F and calling it E sharp. The same is true with flats. You flatten a note to the note immediately below it. So if I'm going from A, I go to A flat, no problem there. If I'm on C, I can go to C flat, and I'm actually playing the white note B, but I'm calling it C flat. Again, notes can share more than one name, and that means when you're sharpening and flattening notes, that some of the white notes can get renamed from what we most normally or most naturally think of them as. We think of this more naturally as F. It can sometimes be called E sharp. That's the concept I want to get to you in this video. In the next video, we'll take this idea one step further. But if you are unclear on any of this, watch the video a few more times until you're sure you've got the concept in your mind of what it means to sharpen or flatten a note, and that you're clear on what those two symbols look like and what they mean when you see them.